Hi everyone, Paolo here. Welcome to the channel. Time for another vintage watch restoration. Today, I'm working on this vintage Ernest Borel C-Gem that I picked up from the Facebook marketplace for 57 New Zealand dollars. The acrylic crystal was heavily scratched and cracked. The strap definitely had seen better days, and I had no idea when it was last serviced. Before opening the watch, I took a closer look at the case, and between the logs, I found the reading plaque 620 EPSA. This tells us quite a bit. The case is gold plated, likely 20 microns. The case is absolutely stuck, so my normal tools aren't getting anywhere. So I'm bringing out the heavy duty case opener. This is a type that you lower onto the case back and apply even pressure before you twist the large handle. And thankfully, that did the trick. And a quick puff of air to test if it runs, and it is running. So let's try removing the stem so we can remove the movement. I can see it's stamped with the Ernest Borel and the jewels, but there's no clear indication yet on what the caliber is. So I'm going to remove the holder for the case, and then we could try to flip it over. This is the first time I worked on a watch from this era, likely from the 1950s. I tried to be cautious because some watches from that period use radium looms. I don't have a Geiger counter yet, so I'd rather take sensible precautions while handling the dial and hands, and that's why I was wearing a mask while doing this. So I lined up the minutes and second hands so I could remove them. So I just covered with this plastic, and using my hand lever tools, I could easily pry the hands out. The case clamp was still attached to the movement, so we just need to pry it away from the movement, and then we could get access to the side of the movement. There's a couple of screws here that we need to loosen, and then we could remove the dial. And I'm gonna store this dial in this little container so we don't touch it till later. Dial remove, we can see that it's stamped as FSH67. So this is a movement produced by Fabrique de Horloger de Fontaine-Melon, one of Switzerland's major movement manufacturers. These movements have a reputation for being reliable and relatively straightforward to service, which is always nice to see when opening an unknown vintage watch. So here, I removed the washer and I'm trying to remove the cannon pinion, but it's a little bit too tight. So I decided to tackle the watchmaker side first. So I'm releasing the power from the movement by holding the clicker and slowly releasing the power. And I'm going to try to remove the balance wheel first. And I have this balance holder, so I'm just going to put it here. So we're going to deal with this later. So back to the keyless works. So we're going to remove this plate. So we could remove the minute wheel, and then I'm going to try to remove the, oops, flew away. So there's a little bit of tension there. And then I'm going to try to remove the cannon pinion. Next, let's remove the setting lever. and it flew away. Next, we'll remove this spring for the yoke. So little assistance from my probing tool here. Then let's remove the yoke. This part needs to be moved from the other side. So need to screw it all the way down here, and that lever should just fall off. So now we can remove the stem. So we can remove the sliding pinion and the winding pinion. Now back to the watchmaker side, removing the ratchet wheel here. Next, turn my attention to this spring. So just release the tension using my probe to assist. Next, let's remove this clicker. Next, the crown wheel, which is always reverse thread. And then next, I decided to remove the fork first. So I'm removing the bridge for the fork. Next, I'll remove the bridge for the drivetrain. And I'm gonna slowly pry it upwards. And when I lift, I'm lifting upwards, making sure I don't break any pivots. So let's move the fourth wheel, the third wheel, then the escapement wheel. Then finally I could remove the bridge for the mainspring. Then we could pry the bridge out. I could see that the mainspring barrel is attached to the bridge. So it's really dried up oil in there. Then we could finally remove this center wheel bridge, and we could remove the center wheel. So here are all the parts laid out. I just need one more thing, which is to remove the mainspring from the barrel. So I have this tool here that I gently press down and it opened up the lid, and very carefully trying to reach for the arbor, and I managed to get it out. Now I just need to unwind the spring out. Next, time for some pre-cleaning. So for pre-cleaning, I'm using 99% isopropyl alcohol. I just cleaned the base plate and some of the wheels, and gently brush them and remove any dried up oil. Once pre-cleaning is done, I put back the balance wheel in the movement and quickly test it out that it plays freely, and then get ready for cleaning in my cleaning solution. Next, just checking the condition of the case, and crystal is gone on this one, so needs a replacement. So I'm just gonna push it out and also get the case and other stuffs cleaning the ultrasonic. Once clean, on this one the mainspring still looks good, so I decided to reuse it. So just using a piece of watch paper, put some grease in, and then we're gonna line it up on the mainspring to lubricate it. I also need to lubricate the barrel. So here I'm using 8300, putting drop of grease, and my mainspring winder, the Chinese one, doesn't really work on this mainspring, so I had to do a hand winding. Once that got sorted, I added more grease. Then I could put in the arbor. Make sure it catches the hook. And then let's put some oil, HP 1300 or 9104. Then using my tool here, I could close the lid on this barrel. Easy. Now we could start assembling back the movement. So before we do that, let's put some lubrication. So a little bit of HP 1300 here. I'm adding the center wheel. The barrel. Just need to line it up. And we could add the bridge for the center wheel. And I just like to make a quick test to make sure it spins freely. I'll put some lubrication here, HP 1300, and put in the setting lever screw. And then I could finally close this with a plate. I'm gonna put the third wheel. I'm gonna put the escapement wheel. Put a little bit of grease on the stem for the fourth wheel, and then I could cover this with the bridge. And make sure that the pivots line up before you tighten anything up. Then a little bit of oil here. And just a quick test that it runs freely. Perfect. So we're going to put a little bit of oil here. And then some HP 1300 here. Let's put back the click spring. And put in the clicker. Then we could put the ratchet wheel in, line it up. A little bit of oil here. And then we could put the crown wheel here. And this is a reverse thread screw. And I also miss a screw here. So next I'll install the pallet fork. I just need to make sure that the pivots line up. And we could put the patent's fork bridge. And before tightening any screws, make sure it's also lined up here. And then I'm gonna give it a little charge. And we're gonna test if there's power here. Yeah, cool. Next is the technique I haven't quite mastered yet, is oiling the escapement wheel via the pallet fork. So I'm using 9415 here, and I'm gonna go through each one of the teeth and then oil it again. Next, let's see by installing the balance wheel if we get some life. There you go. It's alive. So gently tap it, make sure it's all seated properly before I tighten the screw. It feels so good when you see the movement running. And now what we need to do next. There's a screw here for the escapement wheel jewel that I haven't figured out how to remove. I'll tackle that next time. But for now, we could oil the cap jewels on the balance wheel. So using 2 tweezers, I'm gonna pry open the shocks, and then I'll be able to remove the cap jewel. And using a little bit of Rodico, you could grab that cap jewel, clean it in my lighter fluid solution, and then put oil. Then I simply need to install it back, and very gently put the shocks on. Make sure it's locked in place. Nice. Then we could proceed on the other side. So on the other side, I'm gonna do the same. So HP 1300 on the slew moving parts, and then there's a cap jewel here. So we just need to do the same. Remove the cap jewel, oil it, and then put it back. Next, we could start tackling the motion works. So first is putting a little bit of grease wherever there's metal on metal. Grease on the sliding pinion and here on the setting lever. Installing this is quite tricky at first for me. So I used to use Rodico because the sliding pinion screw is on the watchmaker side. So you need to hold this down and put it in place, and this time I just used my fingers to hold it, and then I could tighten the screw from the watchmaker side, and that should hold that lever in place. Right, now we could put the winding pinion, and then the clutch wheel or the sliding pinion. And what I like to do here is also put a little bit of grease in between that side of the clutch wheel, and then I'm going to insert the stem. So the stem hasn't been lubricated yet, but this is just to check out if it would catch the setting lever. And next we can put more oil on the side where there's going to be metal on metal, and I'm going to put the yoke in. Put the groove on the clutch. Yep, looks good. And a little bit oil here as well. view here. So this is for the yoke spring. So I'm just going to position it, and little help from my probing tool so it doesn't fly away. You could put this in place. Next, we could put the setting lever spring. Then we need to latch that setting lever spring on that lever. And a quick test. Let's put some lubrication. Whenever there's metal on metal. Sorry for the angle of the camera here, but here I'm just putting oil on the pillars. Then I'm going to put the cannon pinion first. And this intermediary wheel. And then the minute wheel. And I need to put this plate to hold them in place. Then we could put the hour wheel, line it up, and we could do a quick test. And here I'm just cleaning up the second hands. Give it a little love. And let's install the dial. So you can see that creamy patina on the dial. The looms are gone on this one, so I just kept it like that. Here I'm tightening up the side screws to hold the dial in place. Now let's install the hands. Start with the hour hand. And then using my hand pusher here, I'm going to push this into place. Very so gently. Then the minute hand. Line it up. Then push it down. And quick test that it doesn't touch each other. It looks good. And I could install the second hand. This is the fiddly bit. And once you get it right, you just need to push it down as well. And then do another test that the hands are not touching each other. Looks nice. Okay, next I'll deal with the case. So I'm installing a new crystal. And this should transform this watch. Finally, we could case the watch, just a puff of air, remove any dust, and we could case it. And look at that, it's starting to look good and come together. So now to flip it, we need to install this holder for the case so it doesn't move around inside. And let me put back the stem. Then we can tighten it. And the clamps, screw clamps. And the case back. Using my ball. Nice. Now I just need to put some straps on it. This is looking very creamy. Right, so I have a strap here, but the buckle is silver or stainless steel. But this will do it for now temporarily until I find a good one. Right, so this watch is very light and I think it's ready to make memories, be part of my collection. Hope you like this video. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel for more watch restoration projects. Cheers, bye for now.